One of the beauties of the time of Advent and Christmas is that we get to reflect more closely about Joseph. Joseph tends to go unnoticed most of the time and most of the liturgical year, but Advent and Christmas is a time to look more closely at this endearing figure. What can we say about St. Joseph today that we've heard his own annunciation? Well, first of all, I've always been impressed that the angel spoke to Joseph in dreams. And in speaking to Joseph in dreams, Joseph is just evoking another Joseph from the Old Testament. Joseph, again, the son of Jacob. In the book of Genesis, the patriarch Joseph was also another Joseph who God spoke permanently through dreams. But why is it that Joseph receives these dreams? Because his attitude of openness and listening to God is so permanent that even when he goes to sleep, he's still open to God. That's why God speaks to him even through his dreams. Because he never desists or he never gives up on that attitude of openness to God. What's also interesting is that many times we also have dreams of our own. And I wonder why that day Joseph didn't say, "Oh, it was only a dream." How many times did we have dreams and we said, "Oh, why should I take this face value? Maybe it was only a dream." But with Joseph it's different because Joseph has faith. Joseph receives a message in a dream and he doesn't dismiss it as many of us would do with dreams, but rather he says, "I know this is the Lord speaking to me." And the other thing about Joseph is that he is docile and obedient. As soon as he receives a message, he executes it. And I think this is a great insight for Advent. Because in Advent, we are encouraged permanently to be vigilant, to be awake. And something that Joseph teaches us is that to be vigilant and awake requires also to be obedient and docile. No one can be awake and vigilant if they are not docile and obedient. Because only when you receive and act on what you receive, you can stay vigilant. But sometimes we receive inspirations and messages and we say to the Lord, "I'll do that tomorrow." But with Joseph, it's not like that. He receives and he executes. So he shows how important these two virtues are: vigilance and docility. So today, brothers and sisters, what can we learn about St. Joseph? I would say, number one, his attitude of always listening to the Lord. This attitude is so permanent that even when he goes to sleep, he still listens. We could ask ourselves, how good have you been at listening to the Lord recently? How open? How awake? How much have you been dependable? Or how much have you tried to listen to him? And the second thing about Joseph is he not only listens, but he's docile. Whatever he perceives from the Lord, he doesn't dismiss it, but rather he executes it. So you could also ask yourself, how docile have you been to his inspirations recently? How prompt to follow all of his suggestions?